You want to learn how to play the piano and you've looked at FlowKey and you've looked at Yousician, you don't know which one to choose. Well, in this video, I'm going to do a comparison on each of them with the hopes that you'll know at the end of the video which one you want to use to learn how to play the piano. So how we're going to compare FlowKey and Yousician, we're going to look at playing the song Für Elise by Beethoven, and we'll look at what it's like to learn on FlowKey and what it's like to learn on Yousician. So both applications are available everywhere on your computer, like a laptop, a tablet, and an iPhone. And I have all these three devices here, so I'm going to show you different screens and what each app looks like on each device. Let's start with FlowKey. This is what it looks like in the web browser, and right away after you sign up for free, you are able to choose songs. There are some filters at the top: beginner, intermediate, advanced, pro. On the left side, we can search for songs that we know we want to search for. You have the library of songs that you've already hearted, and then in FlowKey you have courses. So FlowKey is essentially like you either know the song you want to play, and so you go to that song, you learn it on the piano, or you go to this courses section and you take a course and learn the course. So let's take a look at what Yousician looks like. When it comes to the web app, there is no web app for Yousician. You have to download a native application. And this is something you don't have to do with FlowKey, so that's a difference there if you'd rather not download anything. So this is what Yousician looks like. We have a little top menu here: home, learn, and challenges. So you can see already I find there's a little bit more things going on, and it seems more playful as a design to me. We can jump into learn songs right away if we had the Premium Plus package. I'm only on the Premium package. We'll get into pricing in a second. But you can start learning songs right away, just as you would with FlowKey. For example, if we want to learn this song, which we will look at in a little bit, Für Elise by Beethoven, or we can actually start learning the piano by going through different tracks. So these would be like different theoretical things that help you actually build your technique into learning the piano. Very similar to the courses of what FlowKey offers. The thing about Yousician and the design and the UX is it's more gamified. There's like this kind of color. These interactions inside Yousician are much more built like as if you're playing a video game and less like you're on the computer, which is why I think they just get you to download an app in the first place. But it is more gamified. You have leaderboards, you have points, you have badges, you can track your progress much more productively in Yousician than you can in FlowKey. So if you're into that like gamified approach to learning, Yousician would definitely be better for you. Right when you onboard to Yousician, a big comparison with FlowKey right away is FlowKey throws you into it, like I was saying, and you start choosing songs or taking courses, but Yousician actually forces you can skip it, but they make you watch a series of videos and actually get you to start playing some simple things on the piano before you even start learning things. You can skip that stuff if you want to, but coming from a beginner's perspective, I found that to be quite helpful if you've never played piano before. In general, Yousician has a more handheld approach to learning that I've just experienced in the last week using it compared to FlowKey, where it's really choose your own adventure. When it comes to pricing between Yousician and FlowKey, they're actually priced at the same amount really, which are significantly less than having a piano teacher in the room. But if you actually have a human being piano teacher in the room, there are really big dividends that will be paid for actually having that feedback face-to-face, but we're not going to get into that in this video. This is about learning piano apps. So Yousician is priced at $9.99 a month, same thing as FlowKey if you go for that 12-month plan. Where Yousician offers a different package is they offer this Premium Plus 12-month plan package at $14.99 a month. FlowKey doesn't offer this type of package, but they do have this cool lifetime fee where if you know for sure, hey, I'm going to be learning piano for the rest of my life and I'm committed and I got lots of self-discipline, well, just pay the $329.99 fee right there, and then you got a piano learning app for the rest of your life. Okay, let's get on to the next section, which is actually like picking apart a song, Für Elise by Beethoven, and looking at how it would look like learning on Yousician, and then looking at how it would look like learning on FlowKey across the different devices as well. Okay, so with Für Elise, we would search the song, and we're gonna learn this one here with a red intermediate dot. We're gonna click in, and we will load up the learning user interface. So this is what FlowKey looks like when you're learning a song. FlowKey only offers you sheet music notation, and if you scroll left to right, you can go through the entire sheet music. You can also use this little ball at the bottom, and that will scroll through the sheet music. So I might scroll to the beginning of the song, and I just want to learn the first 3 bars of the song. I can do this by pressing this middle button, and then I can highlight those 3 bars of the song. And what that will do is when I press play, that's going to loop this section, and I can just highlight on this section in regular time and full tempo, or I can also bring the tempo down by 50% or 75% speed. I can do that with the right hand or just with the left hand too. If you're going to be switching between left and right hand, sometimes it is helpful to focus in on like the bass clef or treble clef when you're learning different sections of the song. So let's say you do only want to focus on the right hand. It's unfortunate that FlowKey doesn't increase the signal of the piano in the right hand. You still hear the left hand happening at the same time. So if you're a beginner, that is really difficult because you don't know what notes and where they're coming from. If you only hear the right hand, then you know they're coming from the right hand. But the thing is, the left hand is still happening. You can't isolate the sound coming from the different hands. So let's say I'm learning it just new. I've never heard it before. Let's do 50% speed, both hands. And that will play through at 50% speed. So you can see the person is playing up here and the notes are being showed, both hands, and then it's being looped back. One problem I find with FlowKey is when you're reducing the speed, it really distorts the sound of the playback. There also is no option to turn off the playback sound. So when I press play, you are hearing the piano of this person actually playing it. If I don't want to hear the person playing the piano, I don't have the option to do that. I can also do this thing called wait mode. And wait mode is essentially, if I just click this on and press play, it won't actually continue throughout the sheet music until I play this E and B note on my keyboard. And once I do, it will move on to the next note, and the sheet music will continue that way until it hears my piano play the notes in the sheet music. That's really helpful, especially if you're learning a difficult part or you're not used to the sequence and you want to know what the fingering is like. It's very helpful to learn the sheet music that way. That also can get you going down the wrong direction because when you're doing wait mode playing, you're not playing with any type of rhythm or tempo. That can make you learn the song in the wrong way because you need to be playing with tempo and rhythm. And that's one thing that FlowKey doesn't have in general is the ability to play with a metronome. You can't hear if you are playing in time or not. If you're playing along with the piano player here, then I assume you are playing in time because they are playing in time, but we don't ever hear a metronome, so we can't know for sure. That's one thing that Yousician does have, and we'll get to that in a little bit. There are a couple options here at the top we can turn on and off. We can hide these note names if we don't want them to show up when the piano player plays them, or we can have them show up if we want to. Not many options other than that. You do have the ability to plug in a MIDI keyboard if you don't have an acoustic piano. I mostly just play out of MIDI as well, so you can plug into FlowKey and use the piano sounds available in FlowKey. You don't even have to have any sort of digital audio workstation to get the sound of a piano. You can plug in right to FlowKey. Let's move on to what it looks like learning to play the same song in Yousician. So in Yousician, I'm going to click on Für Elise complete song version. And here I have to start at part 1 of the song. I can't go to these other versions yet, different parts of the song, because it locks it at this first part. And that's just something that Yousician is. It's more of a gamified approach to learning the piano. And so I have the option to practice part 1 or to play part 1. Let's start with practice. As soon as you click into practice, you're going to get this little bit of an onboarding before you actually get into the song, and you have the option to skip this and you can start actually playing the song, which is going to start in a second. I'm going to pause this. Just like FlowKey, I can highlight different sections of the song here at this bottom bar, and I can do the same thing as I did in FlowKey. I can go to the beginning bar, maybe bar 1, 2, 3 again, and just learn that section, whatever sections you want. I can press play, and I will be played at the original whole tempo at 100% here, and it will play me the song. Just like FlowKey, I have the option to decrease the speed. However, with Yousician, I have more options. I can actually increase the speed up to 125%, or if I wanted like 82%, I can all the way go down to 25%. I found that the playback on Yousician was higher quality when you changed the tempo. It didn't really distort the sound at all. So that's something to notice. I have the option to highlight left hand or right hand with these options at the top, whether you want treble clef or bass clef. Also, it's helpful, what I was mentioning with FlowKey, that you can't isolate the sound between left and right hand. Yousician does do a better job of that, in my opinion. They actually increase the volume, so if you just want the treble clef, they will increase that volume and lower the bass clef, so you notice what those notes are in the treble clef, which is helpful. It's not like at the same volume. Yousician doesn't have anything like weight mode that FlowKey has. So if you really like that weight mode feature, well, FlowKey is the only app that I've seen has that. On the left side here, we have some option to change the notation. If you don't read sheet music or you don't care to learn, you can maybe upgrade to a colored sheet music where these notes are colored and their respective colors are down on the keyboard here. So if you do want to learn sheet music, that could help you do that. If you don't care for it, you can go to this like Yousician notation, which is basically like tablature, similar to guitar tabs in a way, where you just have these colored notes here on sheet music. So if we go back up to 100% tempo and we click on this drop down here, we'll see some more options that Yousician has that I find are really valuable. The first one is metronome, and most importantly, if you turn that on, which you should always be doing when you're practicing piano, is to make sure you're playing in time. And so this is a no-brainer for any app that is teaching you how to play piano, to make sure you have a metronome. Another cool feature is this mute song feature. Yousician has this playback, kind of like a backing track when you're playing the song. So it seems like you're playing along with a band or an orchestra in a way, and that's cool because if you're just learning alone, it's sometimes nice to have other instruments backing you up, and you can turn that off if you want. And then there's this play for me section, which I was mentioning that with FlowKey, you can turn this on and it will actually be playing the piano with you, or you can then turn that off and you don't hear any piano at all. We have this restart button, for example. If I'm at the middle of the song and I want immediately to go back to number 1, I can just press restart, and that's going to get me going right at the beginning of the song. That's something that FlowKey doesn't have. And then I have this perform button, and if I click that, it's going to kind of give me into this. The options are going to go away at the top, and I'm going to be in this performance view where I've actually am kind of being judged, I guess, and I get points and badges for the work I do. For example, if I click perform, kind of see a different view, and if I kind of start playing on my keyboard here, it's going to give me points, and I'm just going to let that run, and you'll notice in a second I failed, but I still got 1,850 points. I guess when I was just playing here, I might have pressed some things correctly. So that's what performance mode looks like. Also, the one other helpful thing to be playing in time, which Yousician has, you might have seen that when I was in performance mode here, was when I actually start playing notes on this tablature, you'll see little like things pop up that says if I'm on the beat too early or too late, and that's a bit of feedback if you are actually playing in time. So you'll see it here when I start playing. You see a bit late, early, late, late, perfect, perfect. Just gives you a bit of feedback in your practice session if you're actually playing the notes on time and correctly. If I wanted to have my hand held and I wanted a real linear approach to learning and I wanted points and badges and leaderboards and that gamified approach to keep me on track, I would learn piano with Yousician. If I have a lot of self-discipline and I can show up every day and I know what I want to learn, I know the courses I want to take, and I know the songs I want to learn, I would learn with FlowKey. So if you fall into one of those buckets, maybe the choice is easy for you. If you don't, you can try both of them out for free and you don't have anything to lose there. No matter what app you're going to use, learning the piano is a difficult thing to do and there's a steep learning curve to do so. So you do have to show up and have the self-discipline to do so. Let me know your thoughts on FlowKey versus Yousician and what piano learning app you're going to go with. Let me know in a comment. I'm curious to which one you do go with. I'm a singer-songwriter myself and I have some of my own music. I'll leave that in the description below. Please feel free to subscribe too, and I hope to see you in the next video.